Hi guys, Mike here, and in this video I'm going to be rating Sucrose's elemental skill, Astable Anemohypostasis Creation 6308. First I'm going to rate the different criteria of the skill on a 5-star scale. Then I'm going to give my final overall rating for the whole skill. The first criteria is burst. Burst is simply how fast the skill activates after you press the skill button. So let's test the burst. You can see it's pretty fast, but Xingqiu's is much faster. There's a little delay, but it's still pretty fast. It's almost as fast as Xingqiu's skill, and it's definitely one of the fastest burst skills in the game. I'm going to rate her burst 5 out of 5 stars. The next criteria is AoE. While slightly smaller AoE than Vayne's elemental skill, it is still quite large. While most burst skills have larger AoE, we're not comparing to the burst skills, just the regular skills. Alright, let's test the AoE. You can see the size is pretty big. Let's compare to Vayne. It's a little bigger than Vayne's tap for his skill. But let's look at Vayne's hold. Vayne's hold, that's like the pinnacle of 5 stars. Whereas Sucrose is, it's almost as big as Vayne's hold, but it's not. It's a little smaller. But I still think it's still very good. For this rating, I give it 5 stars. Next is Elemental Sustain. Elemental Sustain is simply how long the elemental effects linger on the battlefield. Alright, let's test Elemental Sustain. This one should be pretty easy. As you can see, when I use a skill, it just hits once. There's no sustain, cyclone, or tornado. I give the skills Elemental Sustain a rating of 1 star because there's no cyclone or tornado that can sustain the Anemo effect. Next, let's evaluate number of hit events. Number of hit events is simply how many instances in time a hit registers. Since this skill only hits once, I'm going to give this skill a 1-star rating. Next, let's look at cooldown. Creation 6308's cooldown is 15 seconds. A cooldown of 30 seconds or higher would earn a 1-star rating. However, a cooldown of 20 seconds or so would be 2 stars, in my opinion. Ultimately, I will give this skill's cooldown of 15 seconds a 3-star rating.
Good job!
Next is hit damage. Hit damage is simply the amount of damage that a single hit from the skill does, not all of the hits. I compare all skills when they are upgraded to talent level 4. Anything higher than 350% skills damage is a good candidate for 5 stars in my opinion. Skills that lie around 200% skill damage are likely to get 3 stars. So at talent level 4, Sucrose's skill does around 250% skill damage. So for hit damage, I'm giving this skill 3 stars.
Good job!
Fun fact, most 5-star characters have skill damage above the 300% level at talent level 4. This is almost always higher than 4-star character skills, so that's why 5-star, that's one factor that makes 5-star characters inherently better than 4-star characters. Next is utility. Sucrose's skill allows her to suck units towards the center of her skill's AoE. It's definitely not as strong as Vayne's burst skill, but it's moderately useful and it's way better than nothing. Alright, let's try to demonstrate the suction effect. Let's try to hit this water enemy. You can see the club enemy kind of move towards the center. There, he moved a little bit towards the other enemy again. It's pretty weak though. Now let's look at hit rate or accuracy. This criteria is rated based on the ratings we gave to burst and AoE. The skill easily earns a 5-star rating because the combination of fast burst and large AoE make it nearly impossible to miss. Now let's rate the skill's energy generation. Energy generation is a function of hit rate and number of energy orbs generated upon each hit, and also cooldown. Hit rate is an important factor because if you can't hit the enemy, you won't get any energy orbs. Because we gave a 5-star rating for her hit rate, this proves very promising for her energy generation rating. Her 15-second cooldown is not ideal though. Remember, long cooldown times means longer time that you're not getting any energy from the skill. So it's either a 3-star or a 4-star rating for energy generation. I can't give it 5 stars because the cooldown rate is a tad too long. but the 4 orb energy generation upon each hit is actually pretty good. All right, let's test energy absorption. So it should be 4 orbs when I hit an enemy. Let's see. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 orbs. Let's try again. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 orbs. This is a tough one, but I give this skill's energy generation a 4-star rating. I can see someone giving it 3 stars if they feel the 15-second cooldown is too long for their taste. Next is damage output, or DPS. This rating is dependent on AoE, number of hit events, hit damage, and cooldown. The biggest drawback to this skill is that it only hits 1 time. So for single target situations, this is definitely 1 star. But for most situations, which are AoE, it is 3-star in my opinion. The mediocre hit damage and cooldown prevent it from going higher than 4-star. So to average it out, I will ultimately give DPS a 2-star rating. Next is elemental reaction triggering. This criteria describes how easy it is to get an elemental reaction. It is mainly a function of burst and AoE, but number of hits can potentially boost this rating as well. Because of the solid 5-star ratings I gave to burst and AoE, I'm going to have to give this criteria a rating of 5 stars. Now let's talk about constellations real quick. So here's the constellations. This is the one that most people will get. It's the first one. Clustered vacuum field. Astable Anemohypostasis creation 6308 gains 1 additional charge. So when I first got this skill, or this constellation, I thought it was amazing because I was like, oh, that's a 100% damage increase because I get 2 charges. But that's not quite the case. Let me show you. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I have 2 charges because I have that constellation. And the thing about it is when you start combat, you can just use 2 of them right away. One right after the other. So, you know, you're getting a lot of energy and you're getting a lot of burst damage output. But the thing is, the cooldown, when it hits 0, it only refreshes 1 charge. So if you want to stack 2 charges, you have to wait 2 cooldown periods. See? If I do it once, because I didn't stock another charge, I can't use it. I'm pressing the button, I can't use it. So that should be pretty easy to understand. So it's not as overpowered as I first thought it was. Now it's time to give the skill a final overall rating. I'll give this skill a solid 4 stars.
Good job!
Its mediocre damage, mediocre cooldown, and pathetic number of hit events is what keeps it down from getting a 5-star rating. However, its fantastic burst and AoE cannot be understated. These factors, combined with Sucrose's natural affinity for elemental reactions, makes this skill extremely reliable and a boon to every party. So feel free to let me know in the comments where I'm wrong and what ratings I should change. I plan to rate Bennett's elemental skill next, so subscribe if you're interested in these type of skill review videos. Alright guys, have a good day and I'll see you in the next video.